Good morning or afternoon to everyone from different parts of the world watching this podcast. My name is Ilona.
And my name is Rizqi. Today we're going to talk about algae farming. But first, let's start off with today's issue. Did you know that Indonesia, despite being well known for its agriculture, has issues with soil fertilizers?
I actually have heard about this before. I heard that there was a problem with the subsidy dependency leading to shortages. The subsidies that are controlled by the government can lead to inadequate distribution, which can lead farmers to often face shortages, forcing them to buy expensive black market fertilizers. This can make Indonesia import more phosphate and potassium from China or Canada, making the prices unstable for the farmers.
Well, not only that, but there are reports of increased soil imbalance. For example, there are acidic soils that are common in Sumatra and Kalimantan, which can reduce nutrient absorptions. This is because of the overuse of chemical fertilizers, which over time decreases the soil's health, biodiversity, and harms soil microbes.
So, with all the issues with fertilizers here in Indonesia, we came up with an idea to deal with this problem, which is algae and farming. So, what is algae farming? It is controlled cultivation of algae for commercial, environmental, or research purposes. Algae grow rapidly using sunlight, CO2, and nutrients, making them a highly sustainable resource for food, fuel, pharmaceuticals, and more.
Okay, as mentioned before, algae produce rapidly under sunlight, CO2, and nutrients, which can be a valuable method for producing natural soil fertilizers. Algae has two sets of organisms, which are microalgae and macroalgae and microalgae. The microalgae and algae are rich in essential nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and trace elements, which can enhance soil health and improve crop growth.
Not only that, algae can improve soil structure and retain moisture, all contributing to a more fertile environment for plants. It is also sustainable and eco-friendly, which can improve the soil's health. Algae can even be grown in wastewater, which can easily remove pollutants and convert them into useful resource for fertilizers.
Now, everyone here may be wondering, how can algae farming be turned into a business? I know everyone has heard about this sometimes, but never really thought about the potential impact of this type of business can cause and the advantages it has. One of the advantages is fast production. Algae can grow 10 times faster than traditional crops. It can even grow in wastewater or carbon dioxide, which can be considered a waste utilization.
It can also be eco-friendly, right?
Of course, for many years, farmers and industries have been using synthesized fertilizers, which can cause significant environmental problems like water pollution and soil degradation. With algae that is full of nutrients and healthy elements. As a resources for fertilizers, we can reduce carbon footprints and healthier crops.
This business can benefit Indonesia in a very positive way. Indonesia has experienced much pollution, even one of the worst, and has a high carbon footprint. Indonesia is considered to be the top 15 most polluted country in the world and is the only country of the whole Southeast Asia region to even reach top 15. Deforestation is also considered to be one of the main attributes for the pollution. This can result in the agriculture drastically decreasing in performance.
So here are our steps on how we can turn this algae farming into a business. First, we need to choose what type of algae we want to use to create our product. It can be microalgae that is filled with high protein, which can cause higher growth rates, or macroalgae that is rich in potassium and growth hormones.
After we choose the type of algae we wanted, we need to select the farming methods that to grow algae. We could do an open pond where it can grow at large scale and has a low startup cost considering the prices here in Indonesia. There are also seaweed rafts where no fresh water is needed and is perfect for the coastal regions.
Next is to harvest and process. There are many different types of processing algae like flocculation or using chitosan or alum, which then turns into centrifugation. Then it would be proceed to drying where we can use the sun or spray dry.
Then we need to decide on what the product form would be. It could be liquid fertilizer for foliar spray, pelletized algae compost for slow release, or nano fertilizers for precision agriculture.
Lastly, is to market it and sell it. We first need a certification from the government in order to fulfill their business. We can get a OMRI or SNI. We could also do partnerships with other companies or with civilians such as farmers or other business industries like a palm oil plantation or rice farm. Since Indonesia is known for their usage of e-commerce, we can sell them via Shopee, Tokopedia, or even Lazada.
We can also expand via contact farming with local fishermen or other agricultural groups. Algae-based fertilizers can revolutionize Indonesian agriculture by offering a sustainable, high-margin alternative to chemical fertilizers. With low startup costs, strong demand, and eco-benefits, this business model is right for entrepreneurs and agribusiness. Okay, so when researching about this topic, actually, it's quite actually fun. I actually never heard about algae farming until now. And the thing is, I've seen algae before, but the thing is, I didn't realize they would grow that fast. I have an aquarium, but usually, and they usually grow algae, but it's usually not that much until I realized it was because my father has been cleaning the tank a lot.
Yeah, me too. I actually haven't heard about it as well because in my hometown, algae is only used to like
Like
fishing.
feed the fish, yeah, feed the fishes more likely, like it's the food for the fishes.
Yeah,
But thing is,
I thought it
yeah.
was like only wild plants. Then it doesn't like it's not useful for the environment. So I didn't know about this before.
Yeah, usually for me when I go to the beach, so usually the farmers when I went to Bali, I there was like these algae farms, right? Like around the beaches, they were drying it. I once asked like the farmer like what were you doing with the algae? Usually they said that they'll either eat it or sometimes they use it for like burning stuff for like to cook the food. Something like usually for camping, usually these campers will use sticks and wood, right? Like sticks and dried leaves. But they said that they can use algae to apparently burn for like fuel.
Wait,
Apparently,
you can eat it directly?
yeah, apparently like if you dried it up, they said it's like a snack for them.
Oh,
Even fishes, yeah. Fishes and turtles they eat algae too. You know sapu sapu, those like cleaner fishes?
yeah, no,
They
but those
actually
are animals.
yeah, but apparently if you eat that, apparently you can also like it though. Apparently, it's like a snack for them. But apparently, for algae, do you remember those bubble water thing, those bubble water trend we did before in 2018? Apparently they use algae to make that.
Oh.
Apparently there are so many things for algae to be turned into something. Not only
Mhm.
that, but it turns out there's also something related to algae. Algae is actually really useful for other types of farm, like prawn farm and fish farm. I actually know someone who owns a prawn farm. Actually, he owns his own factories, owns his own business in prawn farming, and apparently he said that it depends on the algae for the prawns to be good. There's the reason why he said before that he had so many restaurants coming to him to buy their prawn, and we once asked him why is the prawn so good? Like why is it like restaurant why do restaurants have a very good prawn from you? And apparently he said, oh, it's because of the algae. These prawns here, it depends on the type of algae they eat. It depends on the algae's condition.
So there are a lot of types of algae. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just found out if there's a algae can be like extracted from it, so it depends. So there's microalgae and macroalgae. So microalgae, as we know, is for like growth hormones, and usually for fertilizers, farmers they said that fertilizers they would prefer microalgae because it has like growth hormones, like those growth serums, so that way the crops can handle the growth, so the crops can like grow a lot. But
What about in
I
Indonesia though? Do you know what type of algae that is growing in Indonesia?
For as far as I know, those algae is like, you know, kelp. Kelp. There's a difference between algae and kelp. Algae is more like flimsy and more greener, while kelp is like they're very firm. It's basically like a bit like seaweed. That's the type
Oh,
of algae. And kelp here, from what I know, they also grow very fast.
oh, interesting.
Yeah, and kelp, if I'm not wrong, there has been a company, not in Indo, but somewhere in around New England, that they have turned kelp into ketchup. So basically, they use kelp as like one of the resources for ketchup, for like ingredient there.
Oh wow, so
Yeah,
many useful things that we can use from algae.
yeah.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for Indonesia here, it's quite gonna be hard because even though we have raised so many environmental awareness, it has seemed like not many people have enough motivation to do it.
Mm,
Because I don't think they would either trust it, because here's the thing, yeah, we didn't really know algae farming can be work because we didn't know about it, but after researching about this topic much, I think there might be a potential, because as far
right.
as we know, yeah, because as far as we know, we've been handling a lot of imports lately, more and more imports, and our economy is like destabilizing right now. Even though in our area, even in the ocean that we have right now surrounding us, we can find algae. We have so many algae surrounding us, and we could use that to use like fertilizers, not only fertilizers but also cosmetics. You can also skincare. There's like some cosmetic companies who uses algae as an alternative for makeup. So I think that's all for today for this podcast. I'm really glad that I hope many people would find this podcast very informative for towards everyone, and hopefully the people here will be able to know that these algae farms have many potentials to actually change the world, to actually be a changeful impact for the environment here in Indonesia, especially with the pollution still getting worse today.
Yeah. I think that's all from us. Thank you for listening. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
everyone. Bye.